Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video we are talking about these bunch of Echeveria Champagne. Now they are also known as Echeveria Champagne. I will let you know in a while why so. Now I have put these succulents under the level difficult because if you are a beginner and if you're just starting off with succulents, I would advise you not to get these. There are a couple of reasons and that's what we are going to be talking in this video. The most important reason is your environment. If you belong to a very warm and humid environment, especially the summers, if you are from a place wherein your temperatures during the summers rise really high, this is one succulent you want to avoid because they do not prefer a lot of heat. Now when I'm saying heat, basically if your temperatures are above 40 degrees Celsius during summers, then you are going to have a little bit of issues with this succulent. If you already have this succulent and you're struggling, then the best option what I can offer is move them indoors and grow them under a good quality of grow light. That is the only option you can do, because once the temperatures rise above 40 degrees Celsius, they are going to get semi-dormant. They will start closing the leaves inwards like here as you can see, and then slowly they will start getting weak. Because remember, summer is their growing period. If during the summer period they tend to go semi-dormant, it's not a very good sign for succulents. Apart from that, if you are from an environment that is very humid or if it has a lot of moisture in the air, that again is going to be a problem for this succulent because they do not prefer to have a very humid environment. They prefer a slightly cooler and dry environment. Apart from that, the reason why I said these are also called as Echeveria Champagne, because they are a mix, or I would say they are a cross-pollinated succulent. So basically, one of the parent of the succulent is Echeveria Laui, which is a natural species of Echeveria. And then the second parent is one of the Echeveria aguiris. Now, the Echeveria aguiris depends. There are a couple of Echeveria aguiris, as we all know. There is Aguiris lipstick, there is Aguiris ebony, Aguiris Romeo, Aguiris Romeo Rubin. There are several of them, so we are not quite sure exactly which is the parent that has been used. Now these are all different type of champagne, but they look very similar, but they are all different, because you have Echeveria German champagne, you have Echeveria red champagne, you have Echeveria green champagne, you even have Echeveria white champagne as well. So we are not very sure. A lot of information has not been shared what is the second parent, but it is definitely an Echeveria aguiris. Now we already know Echeveria aguiris is already a very difficult succulent to handle. It's a very difficult hybrid to handle. It is actually a cultivar. Echeveria aguiris is actually a cultivar. It's already slightly difficult to handle when it's on its own. So you can imagine when it is crossbred with another Echeveria, it's going to be even more tricky. So that's the reason why I have mentioned it in difficult, because the moment you're going to see this succulent, you will run to buy because they look extremely beautiful. Don't go to the colors right now. They do not have a lot of colors. As you can see over here, this is a max I can show. This is how it tends to look when it gets colored. It's not completely colored yet. This one again has not been colored yet. It is going to take a lot of time because right now we are getting into the summers. The colors are going to fade. This is another one over here. I don't remember the names because they all got shuffled, so I'm not very sure about the names. So this is how they tend to look like. They are extremely beautiful succulents and we often tend to go ahead and buy. Now these were recent hybrids, maybe a couple of years back. These hybrids came to the market and it was completely a hit. Everyone were crazy about them. If you want, you can definitely check the pictures on Google. You will be able to see what I'm talking about, because if you're going to look at these succulents, you will be like, oh, these are not that great. But if you're going to check the images on Google, they are extremely beautiful succulents. The best point, or I would say the best part about the succulent is the farina lining that you're going to see. It has this chalky lines in between the leaves, as you can see over here. As the plant starts to get mature, that line that you're seeing over here, I hope you guys are able to see it. This is the line that I'm talking about. These become more evident as and when the succulent starts to grow, and it has these lines, chalky lines on the entire succulent. It tends to look absolutely beautiful. Let me show you another one over here. As you can see, it when it tends to grow and when it tends to get mature, when it tends to open up completely, trust me guys, it doesn't even look like it's real. It tends to look like the succulent is made out of ceramic. It looks more like a porcelain kind of a succulent. The texture of the succulent completely changes. It looks almost like it's made out of marble, and that is the reason why it's so popular. It becomes really shiny. Right now most of my succulents have lost that gloss because they are getting into its growing period, and I'm absolutely fine. I do not stress my succulents during their growing period, so they are going to stay like this until the winters arrive. But this guy was slightly underwatered, so you can see it is already starting to get the stress colors, but I will try and water it. I have to add a little bit of more soil because the roots are slightly exposed. So as I said, these are a little bit difficult, but if you already have this succulent with you, because I'm sure if you have just started off with succulent, this might have caught your attention. So if you already have this succulent, be extremely careful. If you are from an environment that is very humid, that is very warm, try to give a little bit extra care. Do not keep it in direct sunlight during the afternoons. It will harm the succulent. Try to give a good amount of indirect bright light. Try to maintain a slightly cooler environment around them. Keep the soil very loose, porous and well draining. They do not prefer a compact soil. They do not like a lot of organic matter in the soil. Very soon during the summers, it is going to go into its growing period. Winter was its dormant period. Ensure that you water only when the soil is completely bone dry. Usually you will not see wrinkles first. The first instance what you're going to see for an underwatered champagne is that the leaves will start closing inwards like this. As you can see, this is how the succulent will start closing inwards. This indicates that the succulent is thirsty and it needs a deep watering. When I say deep watering, you're going to water until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Mealybugs are not an issue, and when I talk about blooming, it very rarely blooms. I'm not very sure. I haven't seen any blooms on them yet, but it's an extremely beautiful succulent. Do not add too much of fertilizers. They do not prefer a lot of fertilizers. They prefer a very lean nutrient soil. Always remember, this is an hybrid. It's not a natural variety of succulent. A natural variety of succulent has more tolerance towards environmental change or a lot of other factors. But when it comes to hybrids, these are grown in a very controlled environment. Hence, they are very weak. One, because they have been crossbred. Hybrids are slightly weaker as compared to the natural varieties. So you have to be extremely careful when you're handling these type of succulents. So as I said, I haven't seen them bloom because this one has been with me for almost 3 years now, and the others have been around for 2 years. 3 years time, I haven't seen her bloom. So I'm not quite sure. Probably in summers we will get to know, because now it is completely adjusted in my environment. It's doing absolutely well. Again, I haven't seen any pups that I can separate. I don't think I can pull out the leaves to propagate, because it's Aguides itself is very difficult to propagate via leaves. I have never propagated this variety with leaves. Probably here and there one I might have broken while repotting it, and I had kept them to propagate, but they never got propagated. So probably even the propagation via leaves is going to take a very long time. At times what happens when we keep it for propagation, they stay like that for a really long time, and then eventually the leaf tends to dry. That's exactly what happened to me. I had put it out in the soil for at least 2 months. It just stayed like that without putting out any roots. The tips did turn slightly red, and I was excited that it's going to root, but eventually it just dried out. So I'm not very sure. I haven't tried it, and I personally do not want to pull out any leaves from this, because the moment you're going to pull out one leaf, it tends to look a little bad. I mean, right now you can see it looks very symmetrical, it looks very pretty, and then just pulling out the leaf, it's going to lose one leaf and it's going to look a little bad, and then I'm not very sure whether the leaf is going to get propagated or not. So I do not want to take any chance. But in case if I ever find any pup that is coming up, right now I do not see any pups. In case if that happens, I will definitely keep you guys updated about it. So that's all about this video. If you are a beginner, I would just say wait for some time, especially if you are from a very warm and humid environment. Just wait for some time, get some experience with other succulents, and then you can purchase this one. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.